After successfully completing this lesson, you will be familiar with the ISPS Code Chapter 11-2 and associated regulations. The world changed on September the 11th, 2001. We all realized how vulnerable we are to attacks from terrorists. A ship can be used by terrorists, either to transport weapons or as a weapon itself. We have to do everything possible to prevent this from happening again. In 1986, the terrorist attack on the Achille Lauro had a profound effect on the maritime industry. As a result of that attack, advice on anti-piracy and hijack was issued by the IMO. The advice was implemented by some parts of the maritime industry, mainly on cruise ships, but was largely ignored by the rest of the industry. In response to the events of September the 11th, IMO and the US Coast Guard have developed that advice and introduced a methodology for implementing the measures by making contracting governments and companies responsible for the implementation. This work has resulted in an amendment to Solas, Chapter 11, called the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code. The code is commonly known as the ISPS Code. The code will have one mandatory section, called Part A, and one section with guidelines, called Part B. These requirements will be mandatory in July 2004 for all ships of 500 gross tonnage and upwards engaged on international voyages, including high-speed crafts and mobile offshore drilling units. It will require the vessels to have an approved ship security plan. In the United States, parallel legislation is enacted through the U.S. Maritime Security Bill. An automatic identification system, or AIS for short, is a device that transmits information about your ship and receives the same from other ships. An example of information transmitted would be call sign, ship's name, the ship's speed, its course and destination. Coast stations can also receive this information. The AIS is an important tool for coastal states to monitor ship traffic and to detect possible threats. The Solas Convention already states that an AIS must be fitted on ships over a period of time, ranging from 2002 to 2008, depending on ship type and tonnage. The new International Ship and Port Facility Security Code shortens this period. In addition, in the event of a terrorist attack, ship's personnel must be able to alert the authorities ashore without letting the terrorists know that an alarm has been raised. This will be possible through a ship security alert system. The ship security alert system must be capable of being activated from the bridge and from one more location, not be sent to other ships in the vicinity, be sent to a competent authority ashore, not give an indication on board that the alarm has been raised, continue to transmit the ship security alert until it has been deactivated. In addition to the aforementioned requirements, Solas also requires the following: ship identification numbers. Regulation 11-1/3 is modified to require ships' identification numbers to be permanently marked in a visible place, either on the ship's hull or superstructure. Passenger ships should carry the marking on a horizontal surface visible from the air. Ships should also be marked with their ID numbers internally. Continuous synopsis record. Regulation 11-1/5 requires ships to be issued with a continuous synopsis record, which is intended to provide an onboard record of the history of the ship. This record is commonly known as CSR. The CSR shall be issued by the administration and shall contain information such as the name of the ship, the state whose flag the ship is entitled to fly, the date on which the ship was registered with that state, the ship's identification number, the port at which the ship is registered, the name of the registered owner or owners, the registered address of the owner or the owners. Any changes shall be recorded in the CSR in order to provide updated and current information together with the history of the changes. To ensure that the ship security plan is always up to date and correct, a ship security assessment must be carried out at regular intervals. This assessment is initiated by the company security officer and must include the following items. Identify existing security measures, procedures and operations. Identify and evaluate key shipboard operations that are important to protect. Identify possible threats to key shipboard operations and assess the likelihood of their occurrence. Prioritize the possible threats and establish appropriate security measures. Identify weaknesses, including human factors in the infrastructure, policies and procedures. All ships covered by the ISPS Code must have an International Ship Security Certificate. The Flag State Authority issues this certificate after verifying compliance and approval of the ship security plan. This procedure can be delegated to a recognized security organization, such as a classification society. Recognized security organization is commonly abbreviated as RSO. This certificate will be checked during port state controls. The Flag State Authority will periodically audit the ship's security arrangements in order to determine the vessel's continuing qualification for renewal of the International Ship Security Certificate. Security levels have been defined in order to easily and clearly communicate the extent of the threat present in a port. Security Level 1. Normal risk. Minimum appropriate security measures must be maintained at all times. Security Level 2. Increasing risk. Appropriate additional security measures must be maintained for a period of time as a result of the increasing risk of a security incident. Security Level 3. Incident imminent. Further specific security measures must be maintained for a period of time when a security incident is probable or imminent, although it may not be possible to identify the specific target. The security level is set by the port state and indicates what security measures should be taken. Before entering a port, the ship security officer must communicate with the port to find out which security level is applicable. A ship can never have lower security level than the port facility.